Now, our panelists have already finished their presentations. Our audience may also have a lot of questions in mind too. Okay, without any further ado, I would like to give the floor to our moderator, Dr. Hengren, to moderate the panel discussion. Dr. Hengren, please.
Please, I have one comment. Is it possible for me? Thank you very much again. For the future, if possible, please, like Ministry of Education under like Dr. Hengren or Dr. Sot, it would be great if we can have such project like HEAP to other like countryside university like CSUK, so we can get more funding and we can get more engagement with the industry, so that it will further improve our R&D and also the linkage between industry. So yeah, just a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your
suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Rota and other panelists, Dr. Alvin.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
And Dr. Molly. I think I have heard very impressive presentations from all the sides, talking about different aspects of research and how the university can play a role in industry linkage. So I think it's very important discussion today. So because we want to make it more interactive, so I would like to invite the person who has a question for us to cast the question directly to the panelists. So please address yourself, where you are from, your name, where you are from, and then cast the question directly to the panelists. I would like to give the floor first to the Dr. Pini from ITC. Dr. Pini, are you here?
Oh yes, I'm here.
Dr. Pini from
UIL
ITC. Yeah. Can you elaborate on your question, and you can post the question directly to Dr. Alvin?
Okay, so good afternoon to everyone. I'm Dr. Penny from University Industrial Linkage at ITC. I have a question to Dr. Alvin. So I saw in your presentation about the current situations, especially at ITC. So you mentioned that the problem at ITC is that the staff are focusing on teaching. So my question is that, do you have any idea to encourage the university staff to focus on like research or industrial linkage in addition to their focusing on teaching? So do you have any idea regarding that, Dr. Arvin? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rita. That's a very good question. And I think that is not only to ITC, it's to many universities in Cambodia and, you know, to the world as well. So the main, it's not a problem. I think it's great to have teaching, but the issue of focusing on teaching is mainly because of the financial arrangement. If you look at in Cambodia, especially public university, and even more so in private universities, the major income source is from tuition fee. And for the academics in the universities, their major income source is from teaching. So the more hours you teach, the higher income you have. While for research, it is not the same case. You might not have higher income just because you participate in more research projects. And also it is relatively difficult to measure research outputs. For teaching, we understand we use hours as the measurement of output, but in research, there's not a system to measure it. Now, in some advanced economies, say, for example, in the UK, we use REF to measure research impact, and that's still being developed. So regarding improvement, I think ITC is working very hard on that. I'm sure Dr. Chamoli can tell you more, is that actually we are providing money for researchers, and we've already introduced performance-based system to make sure that researchers' performance and their outputs are properly measured, and then we give them the salary increase based on that performance output. And I find Ratha's sharing of the banana leaf project very interesting as well, because if you look at that project itself, if you can create certain kind of intellectual property and patent, and that actually can become a source of income for researchers. However, we have to remember that kind of research return, it takes so much longer, because teaching, you can immediately create income and then it comes back so quickly. The cycle is quick, but for research, it takes so much longer. So I think Ratha was right that we need certain kind of investment. It's a collective, input investment so that we can get the return in future. So my quick answer is, ITC is working on it, but because of how higher education is financed and structured at the moment, there are no quick fixes. But I think the sharing of Ratha, actually, that's a very good example of what can happen in there.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pini. You want to add something, or Dr. Pini?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Alvin, for your answer and advices.
Yeah, can I follow up on that and ask our panelist Ratha a question? So just now we mentioned, some reward or return on investment for researchers. So in your experience with the Banana Leaf project, so how were researchers paid? What did they get out from this? Let's be realistic.
Thank you, Alvin. With our agreement, so the CSUK staff, for example, lecture researcher, she can take some time to the company and work for the company with the paid, for example, for 3 or 6 months, to provide training and to provide technical advice on the banana. And after that, they can come back to the university with the foreseen some agreed budget for the improvement to conduct further research. So this is what we have foreseen, but the reality is not yet into the practice because of COVID, and we just have the agreement last year, and just the second half of last year, where the outbreak of the COVID didn't permit us to do much things. Yeah, but what we agree is about we have some, at least university staff, Jesuit University compliance staff, to work for the company for a certain period to provide technical knowledge or to provide any advice on the productions, and then they can come back to the university. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ratha, for sharing with us a very practical experience of how the university can benefit from the industry and vice versa. And now we have some more questions from Dr. Davut from Bilbrai University, and then I would like to give the floor to him. Next, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Lai Kung from RULE, as well as Dr. Hapolti. So first of all, Dr. Davut, can you pass your question to the panelists that you want to raise?
Okay. Good afternoon. My name Davut from. Yeah. Good afternoon. My name Davut from Bilbrai University. Actually, I have 2 questions. First question that I want to ask to Dr. Alvin about the internship program. Because do you have some advice in order to improve innovation idea for our students in Cambodia? And another question I want to ask to Dr. Molly regarding because he mentioned about the mentorship program. Do you have some challenge when you introduce this program with the private private industry? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Raffi, for your David, for your question. I think that's a very good question. So if we look at the literature and also how companies responded to surveys in Cambodia, we understand that they think that students are lacking. So in terms of innovation, they're lacking certain of so-called social skills, so which is like problem solving, communication, and teamwork. And we know that these skills are very important. And in East Asia and Southeast Asia, we focus very much on textbook learning. So of course we can have workshops and kind of events to say, oh, we've given students training on communication, but these soft skills, they are so soft that they actually need to have some hands-on experience. So my answer to you is that I think internship is a great start, that students can really work in real world and then to learn from there. And other suggestion that I have is something called social innovation. So that it's sometimes called hackathon or boot camp. So basically students, they are sent out to work on their innovation, their innovative ideas for about 4 to 6 days, usually in a camp, usually countryside outside of major cities. And then they can work with mentors, and they usually come from different sector to take part. In Cambodia, there are some. So for example, I know Energy Lab, they have some kind of coaching and mentorship program for clean energy students working in clean energy. And there are more, say, for example, I personally participated in Unleash, and it's from all over the world. And so students, they can share the ideas with other people from other parts of the world as well. And it is free to apply. So check it out. And there are many more online. So my short answer to you would be to let students really participate in real world activities, to let them go out and see the problems to be solved or social issues to be solved, encourage them, make it fun. If you require them, if you force them to go, no one would go, and it's a torture. So make things fun and make them feel like they are part of it. And I recommend that you check out Energy Lab in Cambodia as a start, and how they do things. And because that kind of hackathon young people really like, and UNICEF and other UN agencies, they've been actually using so-called boot camp or innovation program all around the world. So personally, I went to Tajikistan in Central Asia. They're doing the same. And we understand from research, we understand from experience, this kind of hands-on experience, intensive few days hands-on, letting students going into communities, working on things that they interest them, would be really, really helpful. And it makes learning less boring and more fun. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alvin, for your sharing the experience regarding this program. It's very interesting. And I think it's very new experience as well. Boot camp is very new to our country, but it will be very helpful to our curriculum developer in Cambodia to think about how to promote this activity and link to the research activity in the future. Now we have another question to Dr. Muli. Dr. Muli, you want to answer, Dr. Muli?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, and this
Hello.
one is, yeah, you hear me? Hello?
Yes,
you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Actually,
do you get your question?
Yeah. I got the question. Actually, this one is very challenging with us. The connection between industry and ITC actually. Not only, yeah, we have many partners, but we still have challenge for that one. Actually, last time I has joined the seminar, and she was a CEO of company, and he was a panelist. At that time, I was raised a question on that, and then she has committed to join this program as well. And then after that, I had a stakeholder seminar. For that one, I sent invitation to the company, but I have not receive any feedback from the company. So yeah, this one that I said is a really commitment, not just only talk, but actually yeah, the commitment from the company is it required. And for this one, I would like to share that for the dual education program, ITC, we do with the graduate school for master and PhD program. We don't work with the engineering program, because engineering program, as I introduced you, we have two board. One is admin board and another trustee board, and another one is conception board. So in order to revise the curriculum, we need to passing the board. We need to get the approval from the board. So it's not easy to modify the curriculum for the engineering program. However, the master and PhD, the program is very flexible, so we can rearrange the curriculum with the company. Actually, we have some selective course. The selective course we will design in order to complement with the company. For example, when we know each other and we know that the company what the company want, and then we design the selective course to fit the need for the company. So for master and PhD, yes, we easy to modify the curriculum. And in terms of finance, yes, we has only the small and medium enterprise, so they had to put the money in this program. However, still some company, they are small but they invest, because we show that this is not just a scholarship, but it is investment. Because once you put the investment, you create the human resource, so your company will be reach your business plan. So one, the company rely on that meaning, so they will put. So in this one, we still has a small amount, but yes, we have some company, they put the finance for like a scholarship for the master student. They give like a monthly allowance, and then we try to find another way like a scholarship for tuition fee. So yes, this one is very tough for us. Like we have to many work to do. In one hand is about the scholarship for tuition fee, and another one for allowance. So one we have both, so the student yeah, willing to conduct the master program. So in our challenge right now, we have limit amount of scholarship that can offer. So actually we have a lot more candidate on the master program, but the scholarship is limited for that one. And another experience is we looking for the staff of the company, and we want to upgrade the staff of the company. So one, they are working at the existing company, so we talking with the company that we can upgrade the staff by taking the course at the university and working still. The staff still working at the company, and one project from the company will be the research topic for the student. So the company still see the benefit from this program. So they can pay not only the allowance salary for the staff, but also the tuition fee. Yeah, this what I share. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Muli, for talking about the challenges of the mentorship program. It's reminded me of what Dr. Singh this morning mentioned regarding what the university is doing, but the company or the industry doesn't know what the university is doing. So this is a great experience that we can learn from each other how to improve the mentorship program at a certain level, and how to gain access for the student, especially the graduate student, to work closely with the industry in terms of the research project or the mentorship program. So we have touched on the internship and mentorship program, which are the interesting activities that we need to do in order to integrate in our curriculum. Now we have some more questions from our participant. Now I would like to give the floor to Dr. Lai Kung, Mr. Lai Kung from Rule. Can you pose your question, or you can elaborate on your question if make sure that the panelists can easily understand. Okay, please.
Yeah, thank you for panelists, the 3 panelists. Yeah, I am Mr. Lai Kung from Rule. I would like to know whether our Ministry of Education and Sport has done the survey on the research ability of our faculty member, Cambodian faculty member or not. Because we want to build trust between the private sector and the university. When they believe our research ability, they will come to us. So the university can make money and can sustain our research activity. Yeah. The question refers to 3 panelists, or Dr. Hein Kreng also can give some idea because you are in the ministry. And another question led to Dr. Chan Muli in ITC. I see your program, your education program, your education program that allow the student to study and to work. Do you think they have enough time to read the textbook or to do the research or assignment when they study and work? And this as we call a polytechnic teaching. As in Singapore, they have 2 levels, right? 2 parts. One is for the polytechnic study, another one for the university level. And after the high school exam, if they get a lower grade that is not to the level of a university, they can go to the polytechnic. It can be more practical study. So if in ITC combine these 2 together, study and work, so what do you think about their ability, their time of focusing on the textbook and research? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Lai Kung. I think maybe I can cover the first question, and if the panelists would like to answer further, that's okay. But from our side, we have been doing this job in order to collect the data to identify the research capacity of researchers across the higher education institution in Cambodia. So far, our database just underway. So we are going to pilot in 2021 this year. And we hope that we are going to get the database and the evaluation tool at the end of this year. This is one of the important activities that from my department is trying to do, and it's quite challenging because we need a lot of skills, cross-cutting skills in order to do this, including the ITC, data management. But I see the case of some higher education institutions which are trying to evaluate the research capacity. I think maybe ITC or other higher education institution can provide more answer or more explanation on this topic, because research capacity of Cambodian faculty staff has not been evaluated yet. So far we just evaluate in terms of the publication. But in terms of other criteria to be identified as the qualified or experienced researcher, we haven't conducted any evaluation yet. So our database will be the pioneer, will be the cornerstone in doing this work. So that's what I can say from our side. Maybe the panelists, Dr. Alvin, what have you found from your analysis, from your research?
Yeah, I have nothing to add, but I would say that it's very difficult to measure one's capability. It is difficult enough to just imagine set up exams to make sure you measure students' abilities and capabilities correctly. It is 100 times or 1,000 times more difficult to measure, someone's capabilities. Of course, we can set up indicators like number of journals, papers, articles published, but sometimes setting up indicators, it reverses the process, right? Because people would just like go there. Say, for example, if we set indicators, say, oh, more conferences you go to, the better you are. Or then I can just go to some small conferences, but actually it's 3 people sitting down having a dinner, right? I call it a conference. So I think indicators are important and measuring is important, but it is an incredibly difficult task. Even in a country like Hong Kong, UK, the one that I lived, for more than 8-10 years, we are still doing that. It is very difficult. So I think it is one thing to measure them, but it is another thing to really go out to businesses, work with them, show them what you can do, not set numbers. Sometimes reputation is important and knowledge is important, connection is important. Think about, I always use choosing a restaurant or coffee shop to go to. Do you actually pull out 100 restaurants ratings and view and stars and hygiene rating to see which one you go? No, you follow your heart. You think about reputation. You thought about, it's all like a presentation. So I think it is important to measure, but at the same time, it is also important to get yourself out there and give people a good reputation and good presentation. Dr. Chamoli, anything to add on that?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Arvin. Yeah, I continue from Dr. Arvin. Yeah, one thing is about the building trust with the company. I think even the ministry has the survey data for the company. I'm not sure that the company trust the data. It is because the way they trust is not just the paper, because the company want to see the product actually. Yeah, so for ITC case, yes, we start build the research collaboration, not just today, but for a long time ago. For example, we has a research project, and then we think that this project is connect to this company, so we invite the company for collaboration. So this collaboration, nothing paid from the company, but the result output is go to the company. So this one we start engagement with the company, and later on, yeah, we produce something that can be important for the company. The company will put the hand on a new project that they can put the money or in cash contribution, not just in kind like before. Yeah, this the way that we did with the company. And also we also has the alumni. Alumni also important because we have alumni working in the company, so the company know clearly that what ITC working in and what the ITC can do for the company. So from the alumni network, yeah, we can have another opportunity for that one as well. So yeah, this I think experience from ITC. And now the one is about timing for the dual education program. Dual education program that I mentioned is we're not working with the engineering program. Engineering program, we have a task schedule in the morning and afternoon, so we don't have time to go to the company. So that's why we don't work with the engineering program. We work with the master and PhD program. For the master, we have very little of coursework, but more like on research work. So more of the students, they pay attention for the field work, for the research work is about 80% of time. I think more than 80% of time for research work. And coursework just sometimes just 2 hours per day, or sometimes just 4 hours per week, sometimes like this one. So very little for coursework. And the student for the coursework very flexible. Sometimes we fixing the coursework schedule based on the company need. For example, here the company said that the student should study 2 hours per day, and then the rest of time go to the company. And we also can arrange that the student can take 1 or 2 days at the university, and then the remaining day at the company for full day. So yeah, we can be flexible for that one. So this is I think the time is not a constraint for this program, because if we develop with the coursework master program, yes, maybe the problem the cost rate, but for this one is the research student, so master or research, so more of the time they pay on the research, not for the coursework. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Molly. This is an important answer on the curriculum development or the curriculum review in order to make sure it can be possible in our context. I know it is very challenging in the context of Cambodia that we change from textbook to more practical time looking at the industry or at the private sector, but it is time to consider how we can reform or how we can develop the curriculum that is not heavily loaded on classroom teaching. So this is very good experience from ITC, and I hope the participants here will be able to learn and be able to take this into discussion, further discussion with the management. Now we have another question from Dr. Hapati. Dr. Hapati, you can pass your question to the panelists.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Heng, for your wonderful coordination and for hosting this conference. Even we are facing COVID-19 pandemic, yeah. Still, even we cannot meet in person, still we can communicate effectively anyhow. I'm asking Dr. Alvin Leung, you, in your slide, you raised formalize existing linkage, and then in the first bullet point you put with the system, not the people, and I love that phrase so much. So I want you to elaborate the theory and also raise example of the practice. And next question to Dr. Ao, who is the director of research center at ITC. Maybe you replace Dr. Hall, right? You told us about the lecturer research lecturer, right? Lecturer, researcher, and then the full-time researcher. And then how you measure the research output. Could you share your experience about that? Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you very much for your question. I think that's actually a very interesting point that I saw in Cambodia. So ITC actually got a lot of different connection with different organizations. For example, I met with the Center for Sustainable Water, CSW, in Phnom Penh. It's a very small NGO. And then I met with larger ones, the Energy Lab, and then I met with private companies. There are a lot of kind of connections and partnership working together. But I said, oh, so who did you talk to in ITC? They said, oh, just that lecturer. So what happens is that if the lecturer, they are passionate, if they know someone, then these programs can happen. So not only mentorship, also internship, also kind of soft skills training, all the way to collaboration. But there's no way of formalizing it. So if tomorrow from ITC, there will be Dr. Soklin in, so she will talk about a little bit about how she can actually form a team and negotiate with university to make sure that they can deliver the services to businesses. So now if you think all these things happening, they are all individuals. That means if that person left ITC, unfortunately, or they left the organization that you're working in, then the connection is lost. And what these stakeholders been telling me in Cambodia is that there's no single point of the university that they can go to and to start a kind of partnership. So my suggestion, I'm glad that you liked it, is to make this part of the system, to institutionalize it. That means to have one single point that organizations that are interested, they can come in and talk to you. And once the partnership is established, keep it in the system. keep it on a spreadsheet, whatever way that you have, and then go back regularly. And if anything happened or like the connection's lost, go back and see whether we can reestablish it. So keeping a system is important. So try to make the connections and the partnership in the system, not only in the people, because people can go, but if the system's there, it can pass on. So thank you very much.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Dr. Palti, for your question. Yes, ITC we has two title for researcher is lecturer researcher and full-time researcher. For lecturer researcher, the researcher need to do the research and teaching, but we need to limit the number of teaching. Otherwise, they will teach and have no time for research. So we have to limit the number of research time for research, time for teaching. And for full-time researcher, they pay 100% of time for research, no teaching at all. So, however, more of the full-time researcher is fellows, research fellow. So they don't have to teach. They they follow the research activity all the time. Regarding to the output for the lecturer researcher, yes, last time we taking care about the timing, but right now we start putting the output. For example, the paper is one of the research output. So we start putting the output in the contract for the researcher, for the lecturer researcher. And full-time researcher also, we need to put how the paper. However, the more of the full-time researcher, they even we don't put the paper in the contract, they always publish because they are fellow, so they need to publish. Yeah, and step by step, we will reinforce the performance, the output of the performance of the researcher. Right. So far, we put only this for regarding to the major output for the researcher. However, we has the performance-based evaluation that we call KPI, key performance indicator, for the researcher at the every year of the academic year. The research we collect all the data from the researcher. For example, research project, supervised student, research out paper. They go to conference, they go to symposium, they publish in local journal or international journal. Yes, we collect all the information and then we convert into the KPI, and then the bonus of the researcher based on the performance. If you have more performance, you will get more bonus. So we put the bonus as a result based. So yes, step by step we will increase the output indicator for the contract. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And this may direct or may give some idea to the research office, maybe the Department of Research and Scientific. Dr. Hein, you are now at the what we can say policy maker side, right? So maybe it's good to set the goal for university lecturer or professor, maybe teaching at the at least graduate program, to have at least research. You know, we cannot be a purely teaching a university anymore. So maybe you can set the policy, making 5-year goal. Maybe lecturer have to publish how many articles, and then otherwise you cannot teach. Because, you know, teaching, of course, is good, but if we do not have research, and it's obsolete, knowledge become obsolete, and then we give maybe less effective effectiveness to our students, and then teaching may not solve the need of the changing world. Okay, so this is just idea for policy maker. Thank you very much. Anyway.
Thank you very much, Dr. Poti. That is a very great idea. I think I'm not just in a position, but in the positions to do many things at the same time right now. And I see that this is a very important advancement in our system. And I like the idea from Dr. Alvin as well. This is the way how we formalize as well as we institutionalize the system, put it into the system to make sure that it is more sustained rather than we build a capacity of the people and the people can go anywhere collab. So thank you very much for your great ideas that bring into this discussion this afternoon. We still have actually we have 4 panelists today. So now we still have more time. Actually, we are supposed to finish at 4:30. So my beloved participant, if you have more questions, you are welcome to pass your question to the panelists, or if you want to pass the question to me in terms of how it related to the policy making, yeah, that I welcome your question. Any more question from the participant?
Dr. Crane, can I ask question? I am Siang Heng Hul from MISTI. Yes, I saw a good presentation from all of you, and I see a tech transfer ecosystem has seen, many steps ahead from policymaker to provide a good platform for university professor to outreach their research for commercialization. And university professor, their main mandate is to create knowledge, and how this knowledge is transferred to private sector is remain a big challenge. So my straight question to Dr. Moli, I think we have been discussed a lot, but just to keep in mind all of us, how to transform a knowledge, make sure it's a knowledge from university to be used for commercialization by private sector. Because we have seen so far private sector employ technology, we outsource technology in Cambodia. That's truly known that most of problem by private sector in Cambodia go straight abroad and just pick up those technology and employ or implement in whatever in industry right now. So how university professor create knowledge? What I mean, it's so important that we have to capitalize those knowledge so that this knowledge is mature enough to be transferred for commercialization. Just like what I said this morning, just have an idea and create knowledge. If you talk about the definition of innovation, it's just like 15% only. You produce publication, it's just like 10 or 15% only. That's the definition of innovation. When you have this knowledge, 10 or 15%, you transform this into manufacturing. It takes another 30%. And this manufacturing, you bring this into market, is another 10 or 15%. And when it is on market, you transform this one to be, sustainably commercialized. It's another 10, 15, or 5%. So totally 100% the definition of innovation. So how, and all of this process require tech transfer. So what is a readiness among university professor? Dr. Muli is here, Alvin Leung is here. You have been, study on ecosystem in Cambodia. What is your right recommendation? I do look for endogenous one. What I mean, the one that reflects something doable in Cambodia. Theoretical concept we have been discussed for 10 years. I've been in the position of Dr. Muli for 10 years, and we discussed this ecosystem. But I do acknowledge that in the morning until now, the question I received last 10 years and this morning are not so much different. And so what is your, and according theory, all of these are endogenous. You cannot pick up a model from other country and apply in Cambodia, for instance. So what is your straight recommendation for, the context of Cambodia? Thank you.
I think let me respond first. I really like this question because it's very critical and very challenging. I like it. Let me just try to divide the so-called private sector a little bit. Yeah. So we try to look at large companies, and here we define it as kind of multinational because Cambodia is a relatively small country. So a lot of companies working in Cambodia, they also have operation in other countries. So these large companies, if I'm very honest, it's very difficult to convince them to involve in our research and development with Cambodian universities. The reason being, there are so many competitors who are still very affordable to them. Say in Thailand, Vietnam, if I pay 15–20% more, and then I can work with researchers there, I can tell you larger companies, they would go there. So a private company that I talked to, they very honestly told me after 20 minutes of pushing, pressing them, they said, oh, Cambodian office is just a satellite office to us. I said, why? Because they said, because our R&D is not done here, it's done in Thailand. We just send all data. So now this is the fourth industrial revolution issue, right? When data and design can be so easily sent around the world, I think this is a very hard time for us to convince large companies to be in there. So I think Dr. Chamoli and also Dr. Rata, you mentioned also working with smaller and medium-sized enterprises. It's the key, the goal here. So I would say that's the target to go with, and that's why the government started giving money to universities, and that's to help us to involve the small and medium-sized enterprises. So talking about a kind of more real-life suggestion, I think I work for ITC, and ITC is reaching a critical mass of researchers that we can do certain things. Now, you mentioned what can we ask professors to do to make innovation happen. I can tell you professors are doing a lot already, and it's too much for them. No one can be good in scientific research, communicating with people, negotiating with business partners, publishing, writing articles, appearing on TV, media, writing proposals. No one can do everything. So my task here is to help researchers to unload these duties. So if you look at larger universities in the region, not saying in Europe or only say look at Thailand, researchers, they have support to publish articles, non-academic sources to get themselves known. They have people managing contract with them when it comes to research project. They have people managing the enterprise relations. But remember, for all these things to happen, it has to reach a certain critical amount of people that you can provide these services all together. So I think ITC is reaching that point, and Cambodia as a country is reaching that point as well. So my answer to that would be, actually, we need to provide comprehensive operational support for researchers, for professors to get off the duties that they are not good at, because using expensive people to work on paperwork, to work on writing articles to magazines or newspaper is not best use of money and time. And we are doing that, and communication is key. And I think it is a cycle that we need to think about. I absolutely agree with you that involving, selling technology to companies is important. But also remember, if we can now, using the HIP project's money or other kind of like providers' money, to involve the companies, once they're in, then researchers working with companies, they understand the market more, it feeds back. So it's a cycle, it's an ecosystem. So we need a kickstart. So thank you for the question. And my quick answer to you would be offering operational support when we're reaching critical amounts of people, researchers going on, and also improving communication, helping researchers unload, offload all the duties that they are not good at and let them focus on scientific research.
Thank you, Alvin.
Yes, may I join this? Yes. Thank you, Dr. Singhai, for the very good question. And yeah, I think you already know exactly about ITC. As you said, you stay here for 10 years. Yeah. I just wanted to say that the tech transfer is, yes, very important. However, for the major knowledge that the researcher or professor can transfer to the industry, is make sure that it is major knowledge. Yes, the tech transfer that we did last time, as you know, is outsourcing. Yes, it is true, and I think that in order to have the major knowledge and tech transfer, before tech transfer, we had to create the knowledge first. And in order to create the knowledge, we should have the very ecosystem. We have the ecosystem that, like Dr. Arvind said, that multiple work that is not related as paperwork, for example, it should be done by someone, and the researcher or professor should be focusing on the innovative idea or research creative idea. So the team can be made up and then settle real target for them. I think that it can generate the mature knowledge. And yes, I think not only this, but capacity building, because like the capacity building for the researcher is also very important, because some researchers they ignore the research capacity building. But this one we need to have clear instruction or clear structure for creating the mature knowledge for that one before tech transfer. And yes, tech transfer not only the industry, but the majority and the first one in the target is industry, but I think the last one is the community, I think, because the end target should be the who receive the benefit should be the community. So community contribution should be outreach by professor or by researcher. So this the end target for the tech transfer. So after the creating the ecosystem that the researcher can create the mature knowledge, so we should have the policy or framework to transfer to the industry. However, in order to generate the mature knowledge, I think involvement from the industry also very important. And in this one we have discussed in the previous discussion that the involvement from the company or from the industry is still limited right now. So yeah, I think this one right now, like Kitchen and Age, is university said that industry said that university, and government said that university said that government should have policy or something. Yeah, I think that should be not the role should be for everyone, not for university only. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Alvin and Dr. Muli. I do agree with you. Operational support must be there, and it's a role of everyone, like Dr. Muli had mentioned. If you talk about the theory on STI innovation ecosystem, Dr. Muli just mentioned, operational support just one factor, but it might be other policy framework also in the country could urge the STI or tech transfer ecosystem in Cambodia. And in Cambodia, I would like to share to you as well that we focus on several points that Dr. Muli may reflect in his duty at Research Innovation Center. One, how knowledge from university professor is transferred to private sector. At government level, we are pushing for that to happen, but how it is that ultimately we can make a policy, but we are all like fetus stage of making all of this. I am open to get comment from university professor as well on how this policy to be formulated, ensuring a proper ecosystem of transferring knowledge from university professor to private sector. Second is what we are constrained, what we are having the constraint right now is private sector. One private sector is good, another private sector is not good. We can transfer locally the knowledge, but it's not happened yet in Cambodia. Third is SME. If we push transfer industrial development policy, transfer knowledge from teacher to SME, from SME to industry, is not clear yet for us. And third one is FDI. How we are sure that foreign direct investment, technology from that investment is transferred. So it's a big ecosystem that government are working on that, but taking, scoping the duty of Dr. Muli or Dr. Rathai is here as well on how you can provide recommendation, what are the good ecosystem. I think I have seen a few examples that your startup have been initiating the crowdfunding, for instance, crowdfunding allowing private sector to put money in that platform, and university professor go there and use their knowledge to solve that problem. And such kind of event that crowdfunding, there is no legal framework yet so far. It's just like doing without any policy or legal policy behind it. So many policy that university professor can help us as well. So this is just my reflection. Thanks, Alvin and Dr. Muli.
Thank you very much, Dr. Singh Heng, Dr. Muli, and Dr. Alvin, and other, Dr. Rotha and other participants. It has been very interesting discussion this afternoon, and I hope it will generate a lot of, can be a cycle of university industry collaboration, because a lot of things have, popping up from the discussion this afternoon. So from the academic standpoint, especially from the education perspective, I believe that the ecosystem is the foundation for building the research capacity. And as you know, I agree with the knowledge, and we start up with something small and start to design the cycle of how to use those knowledge to bring it to the industry, to the private sector, and how we can commercialize those pieces of knowledge later is very important. And I see the good example of Cambodia, CSUK. This is a university in the countryside, but it has been doing a great job in terms of collaborating with the farm, the company to provide them with the technology support to the company to grow, like to increase the productivity of the farm. I think that's a great initiative, and how the university can promote the lecturer to be engaged in that process. This is the point that we have to look at. All right, we have around 10 more minutes to have more discussion. If other participants have any question, please let me know, or you can directly talk to the panelists. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Professor.
Hello.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. So please take the floor.
I am Professor Murat, advisor of the His Excellency the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports. And I have been working a little bit indeed on the state of the higher education and research also in Cambodia since I arrived in February. I have much to learn yet. Thank you very much, first of all, for this very interesting discussion all today, and also in the afternoon more directly. And I think indeed the idea thinking in terms of system is very important. Ecosystem or just system in itself is enough. Because I'm afraid that from what I see, I can of course be very wrong, but from what I see, we are more or less in some sort of vicious circle for currently, again in Cambodia, and we need to get out of it. And it is very important to make a huge effort to get out of the vicious circle, because capacity building is something that has been coming on the discussions between the lines many times. Indeed, if I'm not wrong, or if I remember correctly, 10% of the faculty in the universities on average has a PhD, yes, or even maybe a little bit less. This is a very important data. And we have also this economy of the public universities, which doesn't push in the direction of research, because, well, their main resources come from night masters, pay fees, and teaching is in the same time the main income source for the universities and also for the faculty, because teaching pay immediately, as it has been told before, and very well. So research for now is in an interesting activity probably for everybody, but it doesn't directly pay. So ITC, of course, is a very good example where we see a accumulation of a critical mass, even if this critical mass from time to time becomes fragilized because people leave ITC, fall to other functions. Nevertheless, in ITC, we've seen status for research and also a very strong fraction of faculty who are PhD, who have a PhD behind them. So they have a research ability by default as a PhD. I think we can learn from them, and we should go in this direction and slowly transform the system in a system where the economy is not only working on teaching but also on education. This is why I'm very hopeful about the new professorship status that was in preparation, hoping that it will give more importance to research in the evolution of the careers, even if it is not immediate to today. It is for the young researchers that should form the expectation in the direction of the research. And concerning the transfer problems, of course, if we don't solve the problems, probably some of them specific to Cambodia, that the firms meet, well, they will not adopt these solutions. Publications are very important, but transfer to industry is problem-based. You need to solve their problems or solve problems that the companies are not even posing to themselves and create a startup from ITC or from other sectors. These are some ideas that come to my mind listening to you. And I think really Cambodia now at a point where a real effort is necessary to get out completely of what I would say is some sort of a vicious circle and install a virtuous circle. Some tools that seems important to me is sharing. I don't see enough of sharing on competencies between Cambodian universities. There are competencies everywhere in the system, but they're everywhere. They don't pool together. We need to pool competencies together, form each other in different universities. Inside doctoral schools also, we need to pool resources to create doctoral schools in main disciplines in order to form young researchers correctly. And also some idea that I share completely is the necessity of a platform for managing heavy duty, like contract management, like budget management. And this can't be done in many universities because they don't have the critical mass, but it can be done in the level of the system, I think, even without real cost for the ministry or for whatever the ministry is, since we have now 2 ministries intervening on research. And because, well, contracts can pay as overhead the cost of this kind of structure. We just need to put money in the first to acquire the competencies in such a platform. platform for sharing competencies and platform for managing heavy duty staff in general. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your recommendation. I think, yes, we have discussed a lot of issues how we can do together in order to promote the ecosystem. But the question that has been often asked in our context is, what should be started first? This is very challenging question, and models from different universities seem to work differently. So it's very challenging for us, but I think the discussion today will shed light on how we move forward. And I hope that we continue to discuss further tomorrow and in the future, how we can do together to promote the research, especially how to develop the policy that improve the ecosystem. Like I like the idea from Dr. Palti that we can have more policy at the government level to promote the status of the researcher as the foundation to move forward, to allow them to work with a private firm. And Dr. Singh Hain mentioned, raised a very good startup or initiative about how we collect the fund, the research fund, and provide the fund to the researcher to work with the firm. But capacity building is very important. I think a lot of things have to be addressed in order to bring up this kind of research environment in Cambodia. Thank you very much. Maybe I can have one more question for the last 5 minutes. If you have any question or one more question to discuss.
It could be
okay, Mr.
I am the last one, Doctor.
Can you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Doctor. I'm Chandi. I work as a private sector from Balti International University. I am responsible about postgraduate study to have excellent Ray Chanthun, that he is my academic manager. I have one interested to Dr. Singh Hain. I'm so hard to persuade my postgraduate students how to conduct their research. That's why since from the morning, since I have heard from you, I need one motivation from you, Dr. Singh Hain. Are you here? If you are here, would you mind to give me one the basic motivation, how to motivate my postgraduate student to conduct their research? In short, I'm not good at research. So the way that I try to help my students just only following the format from the format of the research, like the introduction of the research or something else. But since I have been in this conference, I am the last one. Yeah, I'm the last one. So it means there are a lot of things that I have to learn and to get from all of you. So in short, may I get one motivation from Dr. Singh Hain to to persuade my postgraduate to conduct for allow me to come up the last.
Thank you very much, Dr. Singh Hain. Before you start, I just would like to add a little bit more point. Actually, we are now in the generation gap. If our senior researcher do not pass, knowledge on to the young researcher or young graduate, we will have the generation gap. From the data that I have, we have just around 5% of the master graduate who have written the research thesis. Only 5%, or maybe less than that, which is I think it's very daunting for us as a researcher. And at one famous university, among 200 graduates, only 5 students wrote the master thesis, which is very surprising. Okay, please, I give the floor to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank Dr. Crane. And And thank Bong Chandi, I don't know, yes.
Okay.
And Dr. Muli, you may add if you have any additional comments. I have no, like what it's to me, it's a big question, you know, answer what is the right way to encourage postgraduate students to do research. To me, specifically, we need a system and we need a good researcher. We need a good mentors, if you want to say, or supervisor, a supervisor who loves to do research, a supervisor who love to mentor students. You know, students, to my experience, they love to do research. It's just that we do not encourage them enough. You know, initially they want to take exam to get a degree, but when you bring them to do research, you go with them to the field, you guide them how to write thesis, they even give up the examination. This to my actual experience at the university. But at ITC, for instance, from what I have experienced, it's a policy, it's a requirement for postgraduate, even graduate student, it's a requirement for writing a thesis. But I do my part-time also sometimes with the private university. I do research myself. I always encourage them to do research, and I always bring them to join my research project. And when I ask them to join my research project, they even don't want to do exam for that. This my quick answer to your question, what is context in Cambodia. And in addition, we need a system like at ITC, all researchers need to publish, and all graduate students need to publish a local journal or joint conference, have to write thesis. So this, you know, a management board require all of this. And so the student, before they apply to do a postdoc degree, they know already what they have to do. This system. And in addition to that, you know, teachers play a very important role there. They enjoy, you know, when they do research, they enjoy, they love, and yeah, that's what my actual experience, and our colleague may share more on this. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
I hope I answered to your question. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Can I add a word on this question?
All right.
In fact, this is a pretty general problem, not only in Cambodia. We have the same problem in France also. I have a master program on economics for the research and financial markets on the professional side. And it is very difficult to catch the students to come to research because they want to go to work and have money directly. And one of the solutions I have been exploring, and I will go in the direction of Professor Sanko, passion. Research is must be fun and passion. And what I try to do in my case, in my master program there, to ask to my colleagues to come in the first year of the master to speak during 1 hour about their research, about a topic that passions them, to try to communicate their passion to the students. So they can see that, well, this can be fun really and interesting and important. So it's very important to show them that well, it's fun and it's important for the generations, current generation. Fun is very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Murat. Okay, thank you. But may I continue a bit to Dr. Alvin, because I heard that you have much experience from Thailand. I have many friends from Thailand that they explain me, or they told me about the policy of the conducting the research in Thailand. So based on what that you comment and raise up and address the main point of the way that Thailand students conduct their research, it looked like they have high motivation and to join the research together. So in short, can you give me only 1 minute of the main idea? Yes. What is the difference between why the postgraduate in Thailand they prefer or they feel confident to conduct their research. But comparing to Cambodia, for example, or something else, why it is a very far difference?
That's a very big question for 1 minute. I would say I can only give very brief points. So government support and ecosystem and things. And I think I can only give a very short but hopeful message is according to research done by Asian Development Bank and other multinational organizations, we understand that building ecosystem take roughly about 20 years. So we have to be patient, but I cannot give you a short answer on that, I'm afraid. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, panelists and participants. I think time is now for 3. I think I would like to give the floor to the MC to come to the close of today. It has been very active and exciting discussion in this afternoon, which I did not the panelists, especially we have Dr. Singh Heng from the STI area, which is one of the hot topic right now. So I think we're going to take it into discussion and consideration further at the policy level as well as at the implementation level to make sure that we are on the right track, and we hope we can improve our research ecosystem together at the institutional level and at the national level. So I would like to give the floor to MC right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, for your contribution to the panel discussion today. Also, special thanks to the participants here for your enthusiastic participation, coming up with a lot of questions. But here come to the end of the first day of the Second National Conference on Research and Innovation in Cambodia. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude and appreciation for all the hard work and dedication you put to achieve our agenda today. I'm looking forward to seeing your participation tomorrow for the second day of the conference. You will be allowed to log into Zoom from 8 a.m. in the morning, and the conference will start exactly at 8:30 a.m. Thank you very much. And I would like to say goodbye now. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you.